Hi, this is Jean Gallagher, Discover Rising Tides, and welcome to the show. And this was really impactful for me. And talking to Amanda Curaza with Operation Surf, every time she spoke about the subjects, it gave me chills. What they do, helping veterans and veterans' families overcoming the challenges that they have through surfing, and the power of the water, the power of the salt water, and being challenged. It's without words. So take a listen. If you know of anybody that has the ability to donate to their program, all the veterans that show up do not pay. And the program is run by donations. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jean Gallagher, founder of Discover Rising Tides, and welcome to Discover Rising Tides, how the outside makes the inside better, where we explore the importance of the outdoors and maintaining life balance. Through this series, we'll be talking with women business owners to understand their journey. And as always, we start with Denise Stegall. Hi, Denise, how are you?
Hey Jean, how you doing? I'm good.
Wonderful. And we start with our segment, Healthy Living, Happy Life. And Denise is a best-selling author of two great books, curator of Living Healthy List and Healthy Lifestyle Coach. So this topic this month is mindfulness and stress management. We don't have enough time to record everything that we need to talk about.
No, it's so true. Mindfulness is a really important part of life, not just with stress, but for so many other aspects in life.
Mhm.
And truly, both of them, the mindfulness piece and the stress management piece, they really are essential pieces for us to manage so we can actually reach the goals that we are striving for, whether it's, healthy living, eating right, exercising, being outside, enjoying things in our daily life, our family, all of those things. We all kind of clump everything into one, life is busy, life is stressful, life is hectic. And then mindfulness is over here and everything else is, kind of in our face. But I want to just kind of start or step back for a second, just to kind of give stress a definition. So what is
Mm.
it? Obviously we feel stress, we feel it in, tense of our body, our teeth. I know I do. I clench my teeth. But it's your brain and your body's response to any kind of change, any kind of challenge, or demand on you physically, mentally, and emotionally. And obviously it's our it's our natural defense, our body's
Mhm.
natural defense, to those things, which of course we know as flight or fight.
Mhm.
So stress and flight and fight are the same thing. Like they go hand in hand. When you start to feel stress, that flight or fight, um hormones start to get flooded. And in our daily life nowadays, that's kind of the norm. We sit
Mhm.
in that flight or fight response. Um, and I just wanted to, to remind people what that really is. Like there's stuff going on, there's challenge, there's change. I mean, nobody loves change, right?
Mhm.
And so even the smallest challenges or the smallest change can add stress to our already full bucket.
Mhm.
So that's where the mindfulness piece comes in.
So a couple of thoughts that are kind of hitting me. One is I think that our stress levels build on top of each other. Don't we end up getting like a false bottom. When you operate in a certain stress level and then you have more that's added and more that's added, it's almost as if once you add more, that becomes the new bottom. And then all of a sudden it just topples, and and you just don't remember what it was like not to have it. But then sometimes you almost need it to function more, which the need is in quotes, I think. It's really strange how that works, and you're developing this level of need for stress, for motivation, and it's just this catch 22.
Yes. Now, there's different types of stress. Like you said, like we said, that stress, that accumulated stress. And you're right. If we don't manage the stress, so here we are, this is where our stress is today. If we don't manage that and something else happens, right, we're just adding to it. And that's the kind of stress that's dangerous type of stress.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of stress that is your blood pressure starts to rise, your heart rate starts to rise, blood sugar levels, and not just rise and then go back down. They just continue to rise until those levels actually lead to both physical, emotional, and mental distress.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
Mm-hmm.
right. That's the bad type of stress. But yes, stress can be a good thing. Um, for, like you said, for motivation. It can be, call it a catalyst for growth, because
Mm-hmm.
we need a little bit of stress in our lives to get us from, everything is comfortable, everything is good, everything is happy, 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 joy, joy, to get to that next level of, um, like whatever it might be, that next event that
Mm-hmm.
we want to go to, or that next goal we want to reach. That, I think, that's where that good stress comes in, is it does give us the motivation. Think about when you go to the gym. You're stressing your body when you pick up a weight over your head. Right? That is good stress, because that is building muscle, so
Mm-hmm.
you become a stronger person. So in that respect, that kind of stress is good.
That's
um
also
the,
releasing the good hormones.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Mm-hmm.
which helps us to manage that stress, this level of stress, before it keeps getting added onto. So as we're doing those exercises, we're working out, we're running outside, whatever it might be. That's how we manage the bad stress, is
Mm-hmm.
with this good stress. The other thing I think of when I think of the good stress is, learning something new. I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to take a course in March. Just found it the other day. A friend of mine, it was on her Facebook page, and I went, you know what? I don't know anything about that. I want to learn that, because I know it's something that will help both my husband in our workouts. So I'm a little nervous, and the stress, that's good stress. Like, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
anything about this. Am I going to be, the only one in the class that doesn't know? Am I going to be able to pick it up? Am I going to learn? That's that good type of stress. Um, and that your confidence level also increases when put yourself through that type of good stress, and you succeed. Even if succeed is like, incremental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so something that just came to me is we talked previously to Cherie Walson, and she was talking about setting boundaries and saying no without guilt. And I encourage anybody to go back and listen to that show, because this is I think this is a really important component to being able to control the stress that keeps getting added on, the obligations that we continue to take when we really hit our max, but still say yes because we think we're supposed to.
To me, yes, that's absolutely a boundary. And I'm even going to go before the boundary. Before you can create those boundaries, you need to know what your core values are, what's important to
Mm,
you. And when you know what those are, it's a lot easier to set boundaries and then say no. So, for example, and this is just one that popped into my head. Um, I I support a nonprofit here in Rochester. And
mhm,
it's the one that I've been supporting for years. It's the one that makes sense to me. I know the people. I know people who have benefited from it. I've actually worked there. I volunteered there and worked there for 10 years when I first moved to Rochester. So this is something that one of my core values is to support, that this organization. And it's Gift of Life Transplant House.
mm,
And so when other people, send me things in the mail, or call me for donations, or volunteering at these other places, um,
mhm,
I feel very comfortable now saying, say no, because
Mm.
I'm not connected to them. They're not in my, they're outside of my boundary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I think that those two things um, are essential. Figuring out what those values are and those things that are important to you, setting boundaries around them. And then, yes, when we set those boundaries and we say no, there is no stress there. There is no guilt there because
Mm-hmm.
we've already decided, made that decision about what's important. And I think, and I would agree, yes, we put a lot of stress on ourselves because we don't set those boundaries.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important too that when you have made that decision and you have said no, is not to second guess yourself and go, well, maybe I should have.
Right. No,
Because
and
that just
nobody
adds another
benefits
level
from
of.
should.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah. Nobody benefits from should, because, and once you say no, saying no gracefully, that's,
mhm,
that's okay. Saying no gracefully, but then being able to move on
mhm.
without the guilt. And I think that it's true. Once you have set that boundary, the guilt part it doesn't play a part any longer.
Yeah. And so you had mentioned mindfulness too. And I struggle with this word because I think it's overused and underdefined.
Yes.
And it seems like it's a TikTok thing, right? I'm not on TikTok, but it should be, it's probably a TikTok thing. Everybody has mindfulness, or I'm doing this mindfulness practice. And it seems very, those comments to me quite often seem very superficial because I don't know what they're doing and I don't know why it's making a difference. Right. So what are the whys behind what really, how do we define what mindfulness is and what it does?
Okay. So mindfulness is a practice that encourages you to keep your thoughts and actions in the present moment. That is what that is what mindfulness is.
Mm-hmm,
I think a lot of times we get mindfulness and meditation confused.
mm-hmm,
So mindfulness means that I am sitting here mindfully speaking with you. I am looking at you. I am talking to you. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not thinking about other things that I have to do later. Mindfulness is truly being in the moment.
mm-hmm,
Um, I talk about mindfulness very often when I'm working with someone when it comes to their eating habits, eating mindfully and how that can change um, how you eat, how much you enjoy. So
mm-hmm.
mindfully eating a meal means actually sitting there at the table, no TV, no telephone, no TikTok. I don't do TikTok either. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
one more thing. So mindfulness is truly, sitting there and enjoying the time. What does this food taste like? What is the texture? What does it smell like? What are the aromas? What are the nuances of the seasonings and the spices? And really tasting food when
Mm.
you're having a conversation, having coffee with someone, being engaged in the conversation and not thinking ahead. Oh, as you're speaking, I'm not thinking, well, this is what I'm going to say next. I'm listening to you, what you have to say, and really understanding it before I can respond.
I think that's a really important thought moment. And I want to stop you for a second and say that again, because it is, I catch myself doing that too, right? So you're in a conversation with somebody and the thing that you're doing is thinking about what you're going to say next instead of really paying attention to what's being said.
Right, because how many times have you done that? And then the comment that you are going to make doesn't apply anymore.
A couple.
And then we're kind of like, then
It
the
might have
person is
happened
like,
before once or twice.
right, and then the person feels bad because then they're thinking, well, you're not listening to me.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
occasionally I've had this conversation, I've had this conversation with Mark. Because Mark can talk circles around me. Not in a bad way. He just has a
mhm,
lot on, he has a lot on his mind. And so, he'll be talking, he'll be talking about something. and I'll have either a question or a comment, and he continues his piece. And then by the time he's finished, what I was going to ask him before
Was
seems
so
like
4 conversations ago.
right. It doesn't make sense anymore. That's also truly, but that's also the other person not necessarily being as mindful in that conversation to allow the other person to ask a question.
Mm-hmm.
So in this way, mindfulness, it works both ways in this type of conversation.
I think it's great. And what's interesting too, and for our people that are listening and really want to get more information, make sure you reach out to Denise, because, she, as a, a healthy living coach, you're thinking Denise's mantra is eat real food, but this is also just a very important component to the full picture. So listen more to Denise, get in touch with her, and we can talk about these two things for a very long time, but this is just a short snippet, but we should dive deeper into this one.
We shall.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Jean Gallagher, founder of Discover Rising Tides, and welcome to Discover Rising Tides, How the Outside Makes the Inside Better, where we explore the importance of the outdoors and maintaining life balance. And through this series, we talk with women business owners to understand their journey. Today's guest is Amanda Curaza. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Jean. Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited. Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. This is going to be a great conversation. There's so much to talk about. And let me give a little bit of your bio and then we'll get into it. So Amanda is a native of the Central Coast of California, one of my favorite places, by the way. And she runs a small nonprofit alongside with her husband, Van Curaza, who founded the organization through his own journey of recovery. The nonprofit Operation Surf serves wounded military through the healing powers of the ocean by restoring hope, renewing purpose, and revitalizing community. Amanda has been with Operation Surf since its inception, witnessing its evolution into the powerful organization it is today. From humble beginnings, the profound impact it had on her own life fueled a dedication and passion for supporting the organization's mission and future. Now serving as the executive director, Amanda's focus is to bring the organization's vision to fruition, and her strategic initiatives have proven instrumental in its success. And her comprehensive involvement have afforded her the profound insights into every aspect of the organization. She takes great pride in her team and collective support of the mission, and residing in the picturesque city of San Luis Obispo, Amanda's greatest joy lies in being a mother for her daughter Kaya and raising her among the compassionate individuals who make Operation Surf possible. While Amanda enjoys the challenges of steering the organization's growth, her true fulfillment comes to hearing the profound, humbling stories of the heroes she encounters. She wholeheartedly believes in the mission and the unparalleled experiences of the ocean and natural therapy. That is so important. I wanted to read it all because what you do is just incredible. And I thought it was a fantastic intro to get us started. So let's see where we should start. So tell us how you got to where you are. And then we're really going to get into Operation Surf because of what it does. And it's so amazing.
Oh, well, okay. I don't even know where to begin. How did I get to Operation Surf? I would say divine, probably. I didn't wake up and think this is what I'm gonna do with my life. I think as most people do, but so I've been with Operation Surf for about 13 years now. When I came to it, I was in a kind of a phase of life where I didn't want to be doing what I was doing. I wanted to go off and be a helicopter pilot. I kind of just didn't know what to do with life. I was raised here in the Central Coast by my mother. She struggled in and out with addiction, and so life was pretty rocky growing up. But it doesn't mean I didn't have a lot of beauty in it. I had different seasons of life. Horses, nature, adventures, but also a lot of trauma in there. So before Operation Surf, it was kind of finding, where do I belong in the world? Where do I kind of fit in? What can I do? I had worked a lot of different jobs leading up to it of random things, but for the kind of the steady part of it was in law offices doing legal assistant type work. And that was just not me. I was not designed to do that. I learned a lot of wonderful tools in my young age there from that. I'm so grateful for it. But, you know, I think my heart wanted something different. So my kind of plan was to go off and be a helicopter pilot. And that's when divine intervention happened. And I ended up helping my now husband with his little surf school one summer to carry me through before heading up to become a pilot. And while I was there helping him, he had this thing happening, and he was putting together this surfing program for wounded military guys coming from a hospital. And you know, he was trying to do it with, you know, another couple helping him. And I just said, well, I can help you organize this. You know, you need some help organizing stuff. I've got, you know, some tools. I'll help you. And we put it together, and then I got to experience it. And it completely just blew my mind and changed my world. And getting to meet people who are walking through massive challenges like losing their legs or spinal injuries or, you know, just unimaginable life-altering experiences, and watching them overcome something and find joy and have fun and get to just see the insides of their world where, you know, they're not helpless and they really can do a lot. And it was such an eye-opener. I was pretty young. I think I was 21, 22 at the time. And after that program, I had a choice. I could leave or I could stay. And in that kind of moment, I went, if I leave, who's going to help, you know, keep it going? And if I stay, could I make a difference? And I decided to stay, and I never left. And the rest is history. But I did decide to stay, and eventually fell in love with my husband, and we became a duo of just doing this life. So in a nutshell, that's how I got there.
It's amazing. And isn't it interesting how something finds you to help you through your struggles growing up?
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
you wouldn't have expected, if you looked for something, you would never have found this.
Oh, never in a million years. No. And it has taught me so much. I like in every aspect of life, you know, leadership, working, business, how to be responsible. I mean, from as a kid, you know, well, I was a kid, you know, being making decisions and making mistakes and learning from it and how to kind of navigate all these things. I never got a college degree, and I carried that as this belief that I wasn't good enough and I couldn't do it and I didn't deserve to be here. And, you know, I don't know at what point, maybe a decade in, I finally went, you know what, I think I think I can do it. I don't think I need this degree. I would still love to have it, but you know, I eventually at some point I let that go and just said, you know what, I'm learning a different way, and that's okay. I just have to live into it and appreciate the mentors I've had along the way, and the opportunities that have been given to me, and the different, you know, people and experiences I've learned from. So.
And honestly, our society says you should have this piece of paper. But the piece of paper doesn't teach you the business and life skills that you've learned in the business.
Absolutely. Yes. There's nothing like it. Hands-on is
hands-on.
Still recommend a degree, but hands-on, there's nothing that beats it.
The school of hard knocks works all the time.
Yeah, it does. And my husband too, he's school of hard knocks, you know, so you can imagine the blind leading the blind. No, just kidding. We did it. We figured it out.
Well, you know, usually when you start in business, it is the blind leading the blind can be very common because it's a passion business. And that really creates an incredible foundation.
Yeah.
So what was it for your husband that drove him you can have a surf school and teach everybody, but really what drove him to support the veteran community?
Yeah. So it started out with his recovery from drugs and alcohol. It led him down a path of being service to others, and in being a service to others, you giving back. And his kind of gift he has is surfing and teaching. He is incredible in the water and teaching, and he just has a knack for it. And he was running and helping different surf schools, and he really clicked with youth, like troubled youth, because that was also his background. And someone recommended, hey, you should start a nonprofit and you should, help at-risk youth. And he went, okay, and at the time he just had a surf school. So he started up a little nonprofit, and it kind of sat for a minute. And then he had an opportunity to help military, and he said, let's do it. And then from there, it was a whirlwind of, wow, this is actually really powerful. This can help people. This is working. I'm seeing it before my eyes. I can't stop doing it. And he is like vision, dream. I want to save the world. So that's kind of how it started, and it's developed over the years, and it has grown into what it is today and become, refined. We still refine, we still change, we still learn, we still adapt, and still have big dreams of what, where to go from here. And yeah, that's kind of how it started.
So Operation Surf is the name of the program.
Yes.
And so how does it work?
So
let's start at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got a couple different models of programs. Our most known kind of common model is a week-long program, and we host veterans and active duty from all over the states. Some of our programs work with specific, like military buildings. Some work with specific hospitals. Some are an open application process. It just kind of depends on that year. And the week is designed with different elements of recovery. A lot of it is based in my husband's kind of tools and knowledge he's learned through the years, but also just in what we've learned works and doesn't. And we host about 8 participants, plus we bring back alumni. So there's about 12 people total. We found that's the sweet spot of how many people you can kind of have an intimate group with. And we host them. So we cover all costs. We pay for their flights, hotels, lodging, meals, everything. It's no cost to them. And we just kind of show them when they walk away, we say, what are the things you did here that helped change your life? You got outside, you talked with people, you moved your body, you ate good food, you shared what was going on, you weren't alone, you got vulnerable, all of these things that make you feel like you're feeling today. You can go home and find that back at home. And really practice connection. We practice speaking. We do something called highs and lows every night, where you just go around, you share what was a high point, what was a low point of your day. And it's just that act of tapping into yourself and speaking to sharing it. We don't give advice. It's not a counseling session. It's just tapping in, sharing, and going, hey, that person went through it too. I'm not alone. And so that's kind of a gist of what we do in a week, along with surfing. So surfing is the whole kind of deal. It's the adventure, it's the fun, it's the excitement, it's the nerves, it's everything. And really, the individuals that come have to lean on and trust our instructors to guide them through this experience. The ocean is beautiful and powerful and scary and peaceful and all these things in one. And if you don't go in it without a guide, or, if you don't understand it or have knowledge around it and go in it without a guide, it can be a really bad experience. And so the right kind of crew is really important to us, of who's going to walk them through this experience safely, push them to their limits, help them set goals, overcome those goals. And that builds self-efficacy. And at the end of the week, when you can walk away and go, wow, I was terrified of that. I overcame,
Mhm.
I conquered, I had so much fun. I have these incredible photos to remind me of it. And I have a community and relationships to connect with after. It's like the magic, the secret sauce. So that's our week-long
And
program.
most people that are coming to you, they don't have surfing, they don't even have water experience at times, right?
Correct. Yeah. So a lot
Mhm.
of people come from inland, so they're, landlocked, nowhere near the ocean. Some people have never seen the ocean before. Some people, maybe grew up near the ocean and haven't been back. So that particular program really helps people who are not near the ocean. And our goal is not that they go home and become a surfer. That's not the reality. The reality is they go
Mhm.
home and they have a community, they have tools, they understand the impact of getting outside and in nature and near water. You can go to a lake, you can take a shower, you can anything. Water is so healing to your body.
Mhm.
And so, it's okay if they don't go home and ever surf again, but we want to change their life, not just their week. So if they go home and they go,
Mm.
I'm going to stay connected, I'm going to get outside, I'm going to eat some good food, I'm going to call somebody, and I'm going to be of service. I want to help the next person. So that's really the heart of it versus, having them become a good surfer.
I think what you said, it's really impactful is you're not just changing a week, you're giving them the tools to change their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the big one for us.
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
have created, it's been a journey to figure out how do we operate aftercare? How do we stay connected? How do we help somebody on their journey after they go home?
Mhm.
Because everybody wants to come back, and if we had millions and millions of dollars, they could come back every day. But, it's with the resources limited, how
Mhm.
can we create it to where they can stay connected even back home? So we've created what we call the canteen. It's our online program, and we connect with them every Monday. We have coffee with the team over a Zoom call. So our alumni from all over get to connect. We'll do topics, we'll do check-ins, we'll do, whatever kind of we feel like if somebody's having a hard time, we rally around them and support them and keep that connection going. And we do it again on Thursday nights. We do like a highs and lows so people can connect at night, just like they did during the program, and check in. And then we created alumni opportunities for them to come back and be something called a veteran support. They can come back to a program and they can walk the next veteran through the program. So sharing their experience, kind of just being that guide, being that support, peer-to-peer is huge. When someone can say, I understand what you've been through and I've been through it too, here's what I did to move out of it, it's way more powerful than us who, are civilians,
Mm.
have been through that. So
Absolutely. And so when you have the 12 people a week, how many crew supports that?
So it's a pretty big crew. I would say we're, like a pod of about 20 to 25. We've got each, we've got surf instructors, which kind of pair up with the crew. And we got water support, lifeguards. We've got our staff. So we've got our communications, our logistics, our, everything. So it's a crew. There's about 25 of us that mob around as a little pod, we call it, a family, really.
Could you have ever imagined that in the beginning it would become this big, such an engine of help?
No. I think, I probably my husband did. I mean, he in his mind,
Probably.
we're not even close yet. So for him,
Got a long way to go.
yeah, I think we are very, very opposites. I think that's what makes us tick. But
Mhm.
no, I never would have imagined it of what it is today in the different ways it has grown. And I think the reality of how critical it is helpful to people. I mean, literally, we have people saying, you saved my life. We have people, calling, we're intervening with keeping their life. I mean, it's so incredibly critical that I didn't realize. And not that it's just our programs like this,
Mhm.
just the services like this are so critical because what is given to them is not very helpful. And so I never would have thought that the impact was going to be what it was. Because in the beginning, you know, it's this high of wow, you know, but then when you start to see the long-term effects and the long-term relationships and, you know, people who become your family, you know, years and years and years, and you're watching them grow, you're watching them change, you're watching them, you know, go back to school, get a new job, get engaged, get married, have babies. I mean, you're literally watching a life change over the course of time. And then when you do it over and over, you know, like this new person coming in, you're like, I know what you're up for. You're about to get your world rocked in a good way, and you know, welcome aboard. So yeah, couldn't have imagined it back then, and I'm excited to think about, you know, what 10 more years is going to do, what it'll look like.
And the number of lives that you'll touch during that time.
Yeah.
So water is powerful.
Mm.
So powerful. And just being outside is powerful. But when you toss in the water and the waves and the salt and throw in the challenges of being uncomfortable in a safe environment, it has to make a difference. And how do you see during those 7 days somebody evolve from beginning to completing the week?
Yeah. So one of our favorite things is like the arrival day versus departure day. So arrival day, you know, it can be overwhelming for people. And, you know, it's a bit of anxiety. These people are going into a whole new situation, meeting people that they don't know. Maybe they struggle with isolation. They're like, I don't know what I'm getting into, but I had the courage to get here. So, usually kind of quiet, reserved. Back when we worked a lot with the hospital, when they had a lot of injured veterans coming through who were recently wounded, there was a lot of anger of, you know, I don't want to be doing this. I'm just coming on a rehabilitation program that I have to come to, and, you know, hats down, hoods on, you know, just a lot of disconnect. And then we say the magic happens around day 3. You start to see just a whole new person, smiles, laughter, their shoulders are back, they're having fun, they're making jokes, they're comfortable. And then by the farewell, it's like this really deep connection. There's, you know, heartfelt tears we have a farewell ceremony, because ceremony is important. Opening ceremony is important, and closing ceremony is important. And even in the middle, we have a ceremony to honor those who have fallen, who we've lost. So it's ceremony is part of, you know, a process that you can engage in that helps healing. So closing ceremony is usually really emotional. There's tears, there's, you know, a sharing of like, what did this do for them? So you get to hear it straight from their mouth of like, what did this do for them? And what's next? You know, what is next when they go home? Because going home is a crash. It's, you know, you go on a high, you have so much fun, life feels good, and then you have to go back home and you have to go back into, you know, everything you left. And it's your choice of how you're going to face it when you go home, knowing what you just overcame, knowing what you just accomplished, how you got through the waves during the week, how you're going to get through the waves at home at life.
And that I would think would be one of the hardest challenges to make sure they're reminding themselves of what amazing things they did for 7 days, but also not reflect on what they no longer have. And how important it is for you all to create the connections for after. You're creating a community, but you're also creating a way for them to stay connected and to continually remind themselves why they need to have hope.
Yeah. Yep. We do something called a board. We call it the boardroom, and we do a Zoom call prior to them coming, so that it breaks the ice. They get to kind of meet the individuals, meet the crew, and then we do a boardroom call about a week and a half post program to make sure we're checking in. How's it going? And it's mandatory. It's part of the program. They commit to it. So, and usually a lot of them just jump straight into the camp platform and stay connected. And we have a big group. We have group chats. I mean, we've tried We've tried everything to stay connected, and everybody learns different ways. Everybody communicates different ways. So group chats and Facebook groups and, Zoom calls, all the ways we can stay connected. It's important. It's important. We had a study done on us, and I think it wrapped up in 2019. I could be totally wrong, but it was about a 3-year study by Dr. Russell Crawford, and he studied the effects of ocean therapy on veterans with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And he did it all on our program, on all of our participants. So they did a study. It was before they came. They answered all these different kind of surveys. Immediately after they left the program, and then 30 days post-program. So we could see kind of where were they marking prior, where are they marking right after, and then where were they marking 30 days later. And one of the remarkable things was the self-efficacy. Even 30 days, it obviously rose during the week, but then 30 days later, it was high still. So the way he explained it was, self-efficacy is this kind of a feeling of, instead of the world is happening to me, I'm happening in my world, and so that gives them the confidence and the kind of this boost to go home and get the resources they need. If they need to go do therapies or, kind of face those challenges back home, it's like a shot of it, here's some self-efficacy to go home and get through and get started on a path. So it gives, the hope is that they can take that high, even if there's a crash, and they can still, sail with it.
Do you find that the participants for any particular week stay in contact with each other to support each other through too?
Yes, a whole lot stay in contact. So we that's the whole kind of vision that Van foresees, is the wider we create this net of people supporting people, the bigger it's going to spread, and it won't fall back on just, 4 staff people to be the support people. We can't, it doesn't function that way. It's the community helping the community. And each other helping each other. And not only does that help the individual, but I heard a saying, it's, the individual supports the community, and then the community supports the individual. So it's this relationship of you give in and you get back. And some people choose to, go on, some people don't stay connected, and that's okay too. We've had to learn that, hey, you can't force people to stay connected. You may have been impactful in that moment, and maybe that's all they needed, and they're still going, or maybe somebody, you can't force somebody to change their life or to make different choices. You can only stand strong and be a pillar for them. And if they need it, maybe in a year or in a month or in a week, you're always there as a constant.
To reach out. Yeah. And I would also think too, if they're experiencing the same highs and lows during the week and the same challenges and overcoming the challenges and hearing each other share, it creates a bond that's been missing after service, because there's a bond that happens during service. And then this is filling some of that gap in a very positive way.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. We call it a family because it's like a little family that forms, and then they get to be part of the big, family once they become alumni. So it's a huge network they get to be adopted in. And they've all been through this, the hard times, and they understand it. And then they've all been able to experience this amazing experience together. So then they have that to connect on, and it's really beautiful to see. It's such an honor to see, really.
So something I really want to focus on is, and you said it quickly as we're going through, but I want people to hear this and understand how can they help this community as well, because what you're saying is that these 12 people that are showing up for the week adventure and learning and process are showing up at no cost, including travel. So somebody has to pay the bill.
Yes.
Yes. How does that happen?
Yes.
Because it's not Amanda paying the bill.
Yeah. So it's about $5,000 per participant. So we have a lot of different models of how we raise the money for these individuals. We have corporate sponsorship. So if a business wants to sponsor, they can, do a trade where we put their logo on our rash guard and they get exposure as well. And it's a fun way for businesses to get involved. Usually businesses that sponsor will also come and volunteer. So they get to see firsthand, their team gets to come and see what their company is, doing and making an impact with. We write grants. So if you have a grant, or if you know somebody or know of a grant that you think would be a good fit for us, we're always exploring different grant opportunities. Foundations are incredible. They are our biggest source of support, and finding foundations that believe in our mission and want to get involved with our mission and building those long-term relationships are so critical to our growth. And then we sell merchandise. It's a small income, but you can always buy some merch on our website, operationsurf.org. And then the last kind of avenue of income is we do fundraising events. So we'll host golf tournaments or fun runs, things like that. So, participating in those always helps helps boost our income. But online, anybody can donate on our website at operationsurf.org. Every single dollar is impactful. It helps the mission. And Van loves to say, no matter how big or small you give, you are part of the outcome, because it doesn't matter if you're giving in a way of volunteering, if you're giving in a way of donating food, if you're giving in a way of donating money, you are all part of the outcome, and everything is critical to make it work. So it is I wish we could do it just without money and make it flow and run it every day. But yeah, no, it takes money to make these programs make the programs happen.
Well, otherwise you would have to require that the participants pay something, and then that would exclude quite often the people that need it the most.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We decided early on in the nonprofit that would be one factor, is it's always going to be free. Always going to be free. Yeah. We have one thing we do want to develop is alumni retreats, where they can help, they can help fund it if they want to go on a retreat together, but that's a different story. But for our programs, for participants, they are all free.
Just amazing. And so where does this happen?
We operate in San Luis Obispo, California, so beautiful little Avila Beach, and in all of our kind of coastal oceans around here, from Morro Bay, Cayucas, to Pismo, to Avila. That's our main hub. And we also operate up in Santa Cruz, California, up north a little bit. And we've been all over. So we've done programs in Florida, we've done them in Huntington Beach, California, and we've done them over in England. Cornwall, England. So, we'd like to be everywhere, but for now, the main kind of hubs are San Luis Obispo and Santa Cruz.
And how often do you run these camps?
We, right now, we're running, it's a little bit seasonal. So instead of like every other month or every month, we kind of do more in the fall. We run a local program during the summertime, which is a 3-month program for local veterans, and which is a whole nother topic. But in the springtime, we've got a couple going on. So, it really depends, but usually every month we've either got a program or a fundraiser or something happening.
And you were recently in Hawaii.
Yes. So, yes, also Hawaii. I forgot we operate in Hawaii. So we ran a couple programs over in Kauai, and that was an amazing collaboration with another organization called Operation Healing Forces. And we serve special operation forces and their spouses. So that was a couples program, which we also run is spouse programs with the spouse. So we did 2 back-to-back January.
So let's talk about the spouse program for a quick second too, because I think that that's really important. If you have the individual, half of the relationship show up for this incredible experience and then go home, the spouse that wasn't involved doesn't necessarily have a tangible way to understand what really happened and what breakthroughs might have happened.
Yes. Yep. Exactly. So, a couple of our programs are designed to be couples programs. So yes, the spouse comes and they get to, experience reprieve, relaxation. They get to connect with their couple. The focus is different. Instead of connecting as a large group, it's to host an environment where the couples get to connect with each other and the spouses get to connect with, other spouses who have been through it. But I love those because I get to take the women on a Women's Day and just kind of give them some different tools, things that have helped me in my healing journey, and just get to watch them go, you know what? You don't have to worry about cooking. You don't have to worry about cleaning. You don't have to worry about laundry. Like, you don't have to make any decisions while you're here. You get to just show up and we'll take care of the rest. And that alone is a huge just breath for them, because it's usually the spouse that is carrying the weight of everything, the home, the trauma, it's the spouse is the rock. And if you can support that, then you are directly supporting the veteran.
I was wondering that too, how much responsibility of day-to-day life and just creating either a safe environment for the veterans, and what the responsibilities of the spouse or the family members that are home to try to provide hope or try to stimulate that hope process, and without necessarily the tools that are needed.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of well, I don't know this. I'm assuming that there are not a lot of resources for spouses in this environment. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Well, and the resources I think that are available are not maybe exactly what is needed. It's not as they need joy, they need fun, they need relaxation, they need to be reminded how important they are, and they need to be reminded that even though you're not in the shoes of your, active duty or veteran, like, you are just as important. So it's critical.
Yeah. And for the spouse to be able to see the transformation that happens.
Yes, that is huge. Yeah, they get to see their spouse smile, relax, do something, they get to see it. A lot of them have said, like, I'm seeing my husband and I'm reminded why, I married them, and why, it's the joy in them again that I haven't seen in a long time. I haven't seen him smile this much in so long. And and it finally, we can do something together that's fun. And, it's definitely and then on the other hand, the military individual, whether it's male or female, they get to see their spouse, having fun and doing something and enjoying themselves. It's both ways that they get to see each other in that kind of beautiful light.
And so how do veterans sign up, or how do you find the veterans to participate? How does that process work?
So we have it's kind of a complicated along a lot of different ways. We work with a couple different groups. So one hospital we work with is the San Antonio Brooke Army Medical Center. So when we work with them, we work with the recreational therapist, and they kind of fill the spots. We say we have this many spots, and they fill it. If we're working with like a specific building or unit, they will internally will say we have this many spots, and they will fill it with who they think best fits those spots. If we have an open application process, then usually we have so many applications come in every time. This is where I wish I could, like, talk to a billionaire and say, we have 80 applications and 4 spots, and all these applications deserve it, and every single person could benefit from this. Can you help us to 80 programs so we can serve everybody? But when we do an application process, it's usually a window. We open it up and then we close it, and we go through an entire selection process, which is a huge ordeal. And then, a lot of people hear about us or have word of mouth, or an alumni recommends them to apply. We really don't have to do any advertising for participants to apply. It's the opposite. We need money so we can serve all the people who apply. And yeah, that's how we get our crew.
Amazing. And so how do you find the people what types of people are on your crew and how are they working? How do you find them, or what are you looking for people to support the programs?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Culture is really important to us. What I would say, to explain the culture within our office and within our kind of crew, I would call it family. Van and I, as a married couple, like having, it kind of starts with us, really. Like we have to go if we're not aligned, then everything is out of whack. But we really create a family feel. We care for each other. It's important that our crew is actively, working on themselves. Like, are you focused on healing? Are you looking at the different parts of your life you don't like and addressing it? Vulnerability. Don't shy away from your faults, or don't shy away from your challenges. And, we are not here to be perfect. We are here to be, help each other grow. So that's kind of the atmosphere. Kindness, helping, wanting to be of service and giving back. That's an important aspect of the people who come in. And usually that's who we attract. Our volunteers, our board members are all people who want to help, want to give back. Like they've got the mission first in mind, and leaving your ego at the door and wanting to just help change a life. That I would say is the most important. And yeah, that's kind of who we attract.
This has been amazing. And your vision and Van's vision and what you do to help people that have served us and to be of service to them is absolutely incredible. And if people want to know more, if they want to donate, or they know somebody with a foundation, or they want to connect you with the larger donations, or even send a smaller one themselves, where do they find you?
OperationSurf.org is the fastest way to get connected to us. There's a little tab on there that says donate or get connected. Those emails go straight to my inbox, so you can reach out and get connected. If you want to learn more about us, obviously the website's a great place to look. But we do have a documentary on Netflix called Resurface, and it's a short documentary. It's only about like 30 minutes, but it gives a really good kind of inside view of what we do and hearing the stories from the men and women we serve. So it's you kind of feel like you're there. They did an amazing job. The guys that did an amazing job. So that's a fast way to feel like you're in it. And then obviously our social media, Instagram and Facebook, we post a lot there of kind of instant what's happening now. What are we doing? You can see where we're at and get a feel for it. So yeah.
Wonderful. Amanda, thank you so much. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing, and thank you for everything that you and Van and your crew do to make a difference.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Getting the word out like this is also a huge part of it. So thanks for being a part of the outcome.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening today. Today's show is sponsored by Seaside Solutions, my financial services company. As a business owner, it's easy to be pulled in many different directions, and often taking care of yourself plummets to the bottom of the list. For me, I find myself outside to reground. My time outdoors helps me manage my day more effectively and be more present for my clients. Through this, Discover Rising Tides was born. At Seaside Solutions, we truly believe that education is the foundation of financial wellness. Our primary focus is to provide guidance that is designed to help you achieve your long-term financial goals and visions. Working with a plan allows space for doing more things that you love, like being outside, to make the inside better. If I can help you create or realign your plan, or if you would like to be added to my weekly newsletter, please let me know. This week's topic was 5 ways to set more achievable goals. Your referral means the big, beautiful world to me, and if I can help, please let me know. And thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.